Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. We're starting part 2 of our BDR-X adventure in Pennsylvania. We spent the night at a Holiday Inn Express right in New Columbia, Pennsylvania. It was a great hotel. They even let us park the bikes up close by the front door, so that was kind of nice for security reasons. Didn't have any reason to think there'd be anything bad at the hotel, but you never know, and so it was just nice to have them up close to the building. Good continental breakfast, and we got up and got moving this morning. Not too chilly. I think it's probably about 35 degrees or so. We had a little frost on the bike covers this morning. As you can see, we're kind of crossing over Interstate 80, headed north, kind of northeast towards Ravenburg State Park.
I don't know, it doesn't look freshly disturbed.
We're just kind of going back and forth. There's kind of the road, just kind of, you're going west, then you're going east, then you're going back west again, just kind of snaking your way up and down these mountain valleys and ridges. Definitely some nice riding. Our pace yesterday was much slower than I think we had thought. I think we were planning on about a 20 mile an hour average speed, and I think yesterday, just being new to the whole riding and getting used to the bikes with all the gear on it, we're only averaging probably about 16 or 17 miles an hour by the time we started. And as you can see, today we've got a lot more speeds in the upper 20s, low 30s. And there's also a decent amount of road time you'll see here and there where we're on some asphalt, so we can even get some 40, 50 mile an hour speeds at times. These were some really nice rides through here. Just going in and out of the pine forest. It's funny how you hit that wave of pine smell, and you look forward to it as you see those pine trees coming. This riding in the early morning, we got real used to looking for those sunny spots so you could warm up a little bit. Neither of us have heated grips or any of the electrically heated items for our bike, so you get that breeze in the shade in these early morning hours. It gets a little chilly. So I think we're both going to be upgrading to heated grips for the next go around, just to help the fingers out a little bit on these early morning rides.
I'm just hanging back to the dust earlier.
One of the fun parts to these routes is you come across, all of a sudden you'll be riding on nice solid packed gravel. Next thing you know, you're on rocky terrain like this. So this was kind of our first section of real gravelly, not even gravelly, but just, rocks all over the trail and more covered in leaves than we had been used to. So this was fun to be able to get to actually use these bikes for what they're meant to do and get a little bit of true feeling of being a little bit off-road.
Yeah, get down there fast.
I know some people would probably be flying along these routes on terrain like this, but like I said, we're still kind of getting used to the bikes and just learning how to ride and follow the terrain to match what we need to. And so we're a little slower than we probably would be normally, but still fun. We tended to take these curves a little slow at times just because most of the time you could see what was coming on the other side, but we had a few times where you'd be surprised how many people you run into just out here driving these roads in vehicles. And earlier in the ride, we passed by some guy in a GMC Savannah van. It didn't even look like it was four-wheel drive, and he was riding up this trail. So you never know what you're going to see out on these trails.
Yeah. Yeah, it's alright.
We really enjoyed this riding along Lower Pine Bottom Road here. Just some nice gentle up and downs and just nice pace road and pretty scenery. We're heading in towards the town of Waterville. For some reason we didn't record a whole lot between Highway 80 and Waterview. And I think there was a part in there too where we were on some asphalt and got to do some nice kind of twisties in and out of, along kind of almost like a boulder canyon. It was really neat. So we'll have to next go around make sure to record that next time. But here we are coming into McConnell's Country Store. This was a great place to stop and get lunch and some snacks to take back on the road. We ended up talking to a local couple there that bikes over to the little store, and it was great to talk to some locals. We continued our journey and we're headed up through Little Pine State Park. This was a really nice ride too. You're just kind of following the creek off to the right there. Just a very pretty scenic ride, and it was really well, almost like newly paved. So the asphalt was really smooth. Nice little break from being on the gravel.
Yeah. Take a hit. I think we're going to be in some driveway up there. Let's see what happens on this next bend.
So Little Pine State Park seems like more like a through road than like a park with an end where you would have to turn around. And so after you go through the park, you make this left onto Schoolhouse Road. And this was a fun little road. You're on this for a little ways, and despite the fact that the camera makes it look fairly flat, it was not flat. And as you start to work your way up these hills, we had some pretty good climbs that were kind of along some pretty steep cliffside. So it was, you can see we're already to the roof of the house that was on the left there, and we're still climbing, and you eventually get to the point where you're climbing, and on the right side is a pretty good cliff. So this was a fun ride, and this was pretty packed gravel, nothing too loose, and you can see we're a little slower than we have been throughout the day, but we're still holding a decent speed climbing up these hills.
Uh-huh. More and more better. Yeah, I didn't get any coffee this morning, so I had nothing hot in me this morning.
Some of these corners had some pretty loose gravel, so we would tend to slow down and just take it easy going around these turns. Still being new riders, we're just a little hesitant, so just taking our time, enjoying the ride.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
This is that part where those cliff sides don't seem like they'd be too bad, and the camera really doesn't make it feel this way, but when we were riding on this, we felt really close to the edge, and we had plenty of room, but still some of these spots you just kind of get a little antsy as you ride, hoping nothing goes wrong or there's no one coming down the hill, because trying to make room would be a little tricky on these cliff sides. So we rode the ridge for a little while on the Belua land road, and then we kind of dropped down into Cedar Run here, and this is the bridge over the little creek as you're kind of coming out of Cedar Run. Just a nice little quick break on the bridge, and then we're gonna continue on and head up towards Leetonia Road and get back into the hills again. This was another road a little further up that the camera is not doing it justice at all for the incline that we're riding up. This was about the steepest we had ridden on kind of loose gravel with a little bit of rock underground. there were times on this hill where you could feel the back tire kind of really clawing to get some traction. But we still kept a good pace going up it and didn't have any issues, but it was just a surprise when we got up and found this. But it was definitely a fun little trail to be on.
Only 200 feet. This went from 1800 to 2200. Holy crap, guys.
I believe at this point we're up around the Painter-Latonia Road. And this was a nice overlook on that ride up there. We're getting really close. I think this is what they're calling the Pennsylvania Grand Canyon. And so there were a lot of really nice roads up around this part as you're kind of in that northern end of the section. Really nice hard pack roads you can see. And we could keep a pretty good pace on these to kind of wrap up the day heading up towards Wellsboro. So it was a nice way to finish up. At this point, I believe we're on Dead Hollow Road. We're just wrapping up the official section 1 part ending up near Wellsboro. We had reservations to stay at the Coach Stop Inn and Tavern. We swung by there and had a few little hiccups just trying to understand how it works. Turns out the rooms are open and you just go in to your assigned room, but one of the issues is that without cell phone access for a good part of the day, we didn't realize that the owner had left us a voicemail saying which room we were in. So we had a little bit of confusion, and we ended up also talking to the owner of the Colton Point Motel. He was a very nice gentleman. He had some rooms available, and we ended up having to use his phone to contact the owner of Coach Stop to get our room and get that straightened out. Coach Stop worked well for us as a place to stay. Colton Point seemed like a nice place as well. So those are two good kind of motels to stay in if you want to just stay right off the trail. I think if we had to do it again, we ended up, because things closed down and there really are not any large town, type items in this area. You pretty much have to, from where the trail comes off onto the main road, you either go 10 miles west or 10 miles east to get into a town with what you need. We ended up going off over east towards Wellsboro and went into the town of Wellsboro, had dinner, gassed up, got ready for the next day. And there's some pretty nice hotels, motels, lots of restaurants. Wellsboro looks like a cool town. So next time we do this ride, we will definitely just ride into Wellsboro and probably stay there. On the way back in the morning of day 3, we stopped at Baxter's Bakery for breakfast. Definitely recommend you swing through there. Very nice mom and pop place. Had a great breakfast, good coffee, and then hit the trail again. Thanks for watching. Please join us for the next video where we cover day 3 of our ride. We have to cut it short a little bit due to weather coming in, and we just did not want to get caught in a full day of constant rain, so we ended up starting to head back towards the truck so we could head home. Join us next time. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.